How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, and today I'm going to be doing a review for you, this time on Hateful Transgression's new EP called Meaningless. Now, if you haven't heard of Hateful Transgression before, they are a Blackened Slamming Death Metal band from the US. They're kind of the pioneers of this new genre, as Blackened Slam hasn't really been done before too much. There might be maybe a handful of other bands that are currently attempting to do this, or maybe one has potentially done it before. But these guys are definitely on the cusp of being the pioneers for this genre, so definitely make sure you check them out at the very least, if you're into slam or black metal, or both. Now, the members of this band are Dan Martin on guitar, and he also does bass for most of this EP. Lennon O'Donnell does vocals for this. Evan Barton on drums, and holy shit, what a drummer he is. And someone named Joran S. is doing keyboards in this as well. So a lot of decent artists here that is bringing forth some really good stuff to the plate. Now, vocal wise, these were some very crisp, guttural, and monstrous vocals throughout. Lennon definitely gave a very good performance in this, great technique. He also had some face melting highs and shrieks, kind of reminiscent of early Chelsea Grin, or And Hell Followed With, and stuff like that. Needless to say, it had a good range. Definitely a variety in different vocal styles in this. Some behemoth type bellows, and there's even the odd kind of sparse, gurgly, and frog type vocals in there. So when they say variety is the spice of life, you definitely have a spicy variety in this EP. Now, for guitars, they're crushing, just kind of this deep, low end tone to them. They are just heavy and menacing. There's some melodic parts, there's some grim parts, there is definitely a lot of ominous parts. As you could imagine, in Blackened Slam, there would definitely be some ominous parts. There's, like I said, there's some chuggy, fun slams in here as well, not just tremolos and stuff, but there's also some eerie leads appearing kind of sparsely throughout this as well. Some of the riffs kind of remind me of if you've ever heard of the band called I Ate Everybody. If not, still a little bit of Chelsea Grin in there, meets some Balthagor riffs and some dragging entrails kind of riffage going on here. Needless to say, they were never short of riffs, performed really well, very creative, always had me wondering what was coming next. Now, for the bass, it was very low in the tuning and very low in the mix, but it was still detectable. At one point I thought it might be lightly distorted, but the more I listened to it, I don't think it was. I think it was just clean bass. And another good thing that I noticed with the bass in this, it didn't just follow the guitar. It beefed up the guitar section and gave it something to sit on, but it did its own kind of slight thing here to give its own flavor to the whole mix, the whole EP, and added that extra punch where you needed it. So it's very good. Good job on Dan for deciding to add that in there, as a lot of people are either mixing the bass way too low so you can't even hear it or detect it, or they're just throwing the bass out the window and not even recording it. Kind of like what I did with the Drakir recordings. So yeah, now we're going to move on to the best part, I think, of this entire thing. Now that's Evan Barton's drumming. There just a great snare sound in here. The crack of the snares sounded good. There was just a sea of cymbals, and there's a great use of them in there. There is also some really crisp there's some crisp mid to low range kick pedals in there, or kick drums in there. It just, you felt every punch. You felt it right in your chest if you had it on a decent sized stereo. The timing was excellent. This guy must have crazy stamina. There is some brilliant patterns and drum beats in this. It was recorded and mixed beautifully. You could pick up on every little nuance in there, from fills to bell hits to little like ride ticks. Just all the little intricate details he put into this drumming and recording, you picked up, came through clearly. It's just overall excellent performance. Now, my favorite tracks on this EP were Inlev. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but Inlev, which is the second track on here, really good. Lots of different stuff going on. Really heavy, really menacing, really grim. Some good slams. And then after that was the first track called I Cast Myself Into the Chasm. It starts off the album really good. It has a nice kind of little intro and then just kicks you directly in and around the balls and just sets off the tone for the rest of the EP, which is fantastic. And then the third most favorite song on this 5-track EP is Slammed for Eternity in the Blackened Abyss. Now, if that isn't the most perfect song title for a blackened slamming death metal band, then I don't know what is. But besides the song title itself, it was also really enjoyable. It's probably one of the shorter songs in here, besides the third track, which is an instrumental, sort of. There's a little bit of like vocal meanderings and kind of like growly parts. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to even pronounce the third track. It showed up on my laptop as 3 sets of 2 dashes, but then when I looked on the Bandcamp, they are 3 triangles, so I'm not exactly sure what to actually call that track. But track 3, the instrumental, was pretty interesting. It was cool. It was a very kind of ominous, creepy, attention grabbing kind of interlude between the first 2 tracks and the last 2 tracks of the EP. But yeah, my overall thoughts of this is it's one pounding juggernaut of an EP filled to the brim with intensity and dread. It basically just confirms my belief in the need for the marriage of black metal and slamming death metal. These guys are killing it, and they've stepped up their game big time from the last couple of singles and releases they had before this. Honestly, these forerunners are going to be huge if the black slam scene thing kind of takes off and more bands start popping up. And these guys are going to be very influential for the future of extreme artists in the blackened slam genre. So kudos to Hateful Transgression. You guys have definitely set the standard, and the next people to step up to the plate have a high bar to live up to. I'm Jesse Morgan, and you can bet your ass I'll be buying this CD. Cheers, thanks for watching. For glory, for the rebellion, Slammerella out.